end on this episode of No Shut Up, we have this from Movie Web. Conor McGregor is the perfect choice for Wolverine's nemesis in the MCU. He was just in Roadhouse. He was funny in Roadhouse. Because he was so stupid. He was just an absolute ridiculous caricature of a human being who had these great memeable lines and facial expressions. But at no point did I ever say, wow, Conor McGregor is going to be the greatest actor in Hollywood. He's going to go off to do billion-dollar franchises and play the most iconic characters throughout movie history. You guys think he's going to play Sabretooth? No, he's short. He's too short to play Sabretooth. Get out of here. The article says, the film stars Jake Gyllenhaal, but much of the attention has been paid to UFC fighting champion Conor McGregor, who is making his feature film debut. Come on, guys. Are we really thinking that Conor McGregor is going to get a lot of other big-name roles after this? As I'm saying this right now, this could potentially be the worst take I've ever done, because what if he does? Can you imagine if I'm wrong and Marvel cast him to play Sabretooth and he does the greatest job of all time and the movie makes like $10 billion and then he goes off to doing more serious roles and then it's like, hey, let's just make like Peaky Blinders the movie and put him in it, and then he's just off on this incredible acting career and I'm the moron that said, no, he was just silly and stupid in Roadhouse and that was why people liked him. You know what? I've been wrong before. Let's continue here. They think he's going to play Sabretooth. And they even go on to say that the original actor Taylor Maine, who was cast as Sabretooth, was 6'9", and McGregor is 5'8". But yeah, Marvel might go and get a shorter actor to play Wolverine like he was in the comic books. So, you know, let's have a Sabretooth who's really small too. Come on. It's not going to work. That's why people thought Sabretooth was so imposing, because he was so massive. So, you know, as they're showing this picture of Conor McGregor standing with Sabretooth in the background, you know, the face works. I can see that, though, but the height is such a problem. You can't have your villain be that short. With fears of superhero fatigue hidden, the MCU will need to find a way to draw audiences back in and feature fights that put an emphasis on more practical stunts and fight choreography. First of all, superhero fatigue is an absolute lie. It's some buzzword that Hollywood created to explain why everyone doesn't like their piece of shit garbage movies these days. It's really simple. Back in the old days of Marvel, before Endgame, they actually made a lot of great movies. Now, granted, every now and then there was an Ant-Man and the Wasp and a Captain Marvel or Thor: The Dark World. But overall, the movies were passable. Ever since Endgame, everything's been bad. So now they're like, oh yeah, it's superhero fatigue. No, it's not. It's called your products are garbage. So no, I don't think Conor McGregor is going to be the savior of Disney and Marvel. And also, let's be real. Let's say he does play Sabretooth. You think that's going to be enough? That we're going to have No, just the way that sounds, it's not going to make any sense. You're not going to have are you going to have a Sabretooth cinematic universe? Because obviously, if he's brought in to play Sabretooth, and he is absolutely fantastic in this movie, and everyone loves his character, are you going to make a Sabretooth cinematic universe? You're really going to keep this character going? You're going to eventually, make him a good guy and he's going to be teaming with Wolverine and stuff like that? It's not going to work. What a know-nothing burger of an article here. Things like height are a minor factor. No, they're not. Height is a major factor. We're going to put 2-foot lifts on this guy? Then the article even says Alexander Skarsgård to Henry Cavill could play Sabretooth. You're not bringing in Alexander Skarsgård or Henry Cavill to play Sabretooth. Do they really think these things are possible? You're not going to get them. You're going to pay Henry Cavill and Alexander Skarsgård prices and get killed off in 1 or 2 movies? No, stop it. That ain't going to happen. The real big factor working against McGregor is whether Marvel Studios and the Walt Disney Company would want to court the controversy that tends to follow the star. McGregor has multiple arrests stemming from driving offenses to various physical brawls, which include allegedly assaulting Italian musician I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, Francesco Fettuccini, in 2021, and one as recent as January 2023, where he was accused of assaulting a 42-year-old woman aboard his yacht. Let me just be clear about this. Conor McGregor's past allegations have zero to do with casting him. No. That's not going to remotely play a factor whatsoever. I mean, Christ. You got Harvey Weinstein's assistant doing the acolyte that may or may not allegedly have known everything that was going on then. So you have her doing that, but oh no, Conor McGregor fought a Italian musician, Francesco Fettuccini, over here, and that's gonna blackball him from Disney? You think Disney right now, that is so desperate for a win in any capacity whatsoever, wouldn't jump at the chance to bring Conor McGregor in if he brings in his loyal UFC fans and the pride of Ireland with him? You don't think for a second they're like, hey, yeah, this guy, everyone likes him. Let's bring him in. No, we can't do that because he had a couple of assaults in his life. Get the fuck out of here. Of course they'd bring him in if he's going to bring them money. Ezra Miller, they didn't even cut ties with him until after The Flash bombed in the box office. You'd think DC would have been so cavalier to cut ties with him afterwards? You think James Gunn would have been like, yeah, we're going to go in a different direction? No, they'll be like, oh, wow, the only billion-dollar movie of this phase, and we're going to let the actor go? No. If Ezra Miller scored big for DC, he'd still be playing The Flash. It's that simple. If Jason Momoa would have had a billion-dollar movie with Aquaman 2, he'd be playing Aquaman in the future James Gunn movies. So, no, I don't think for a second that Conor McGregor's past history is going to have anything to do with Disney and Marvel trying to cast him these days. And then the article talks about Jonathan Majors being cut from Marvel after his arrest, okay? If Ant-Man Quantumania would have been a billion-dollar movie, Jonathan Majors would still be Kang. There would be no talks of, oh, we're going to go in the direction of Doctor Doom. We might recast Kang. Oh, no, we have morals. Excuse me. If you made $1 billion on Ant-Man Quantumania, Jonathan Majors will still be playing Kang going forward. It's that simple. Money talks. And right now, Disney ain't got any money. So they got nothing to talk about these days. So bringing Conor McGregor in the MCU, you know what? It's not the worst idea in the world. Just Sabretooth doesn't work for him at all. He's not big enough. You need a guy that's almost 7 feet tall, this massive, imposing person. And that was what the cool thing with Wolverine was, though, that he was so small. And he was going against guys like Sabretooth and the Hulk and coming out alive on the other side. So, yeah, I actually think maybe casting Hugh Jackman was a bad idea because he is so tall. It doesn't really make sense on paper to cast him. But I don't think they're going to go with, like, Daniel Radcliffe or someone like that, though. I have no idea. I don't even think Disney has no idea where they're going with that franchise, because if they screw up X-Men like they screwed up everything else, you might as well just sell it to Apple or Elon Musk at this point. So in the end, what do you think about Conor McGregor playing Sabretooth? And if you could fan cast him as any character in the MCU, who would you cast him as? Let me know what you think.